There's no shortage of recent viral videos of parents facing off with public school board members.
The biggest issues with the government schools that you see all across the nation really boil down to two issues. It's curriculum or health and safety, or both.
And in some of those cases, parents are getting targeted for being too outspoken.
We're horrified to find out what has been collected against various Scottsdale parents.
But none of this is a shocker to a growing parent advocacy group named Purple for Parents. They saw the writing on the wall 3 years ago when they first formed in Arizona. And even before COVID forced school closures, Purple for Parents had their first micro school up and running.
Right before COVID started, I knew that it was going to, it was something I wanted to do anyways. But I knew it was going to get worse.
This is the micro school set up at the home of Angelina Russo. She moved her family to Arizona from California. Angelina immediately didn't like what was being taught in Arizona public schools.
So not only was it the indoctrination, but the lack of education.
So Angelina made the decision to start her own Purple for Parents micro school inside her home.
I just figured anything had to be better than that. Like, we had to be able to do better than that.
As a result, the P4P micro school kids sailed through COVID, not missing a beat in their education, and the parents got to pick their own curriculum. Everyone was happy.
Any of you can do this. If you want to teach your kids, you can teach them, and you can specifically teach them things that you think they need to know.
Shayna Nelson has been side by side with Angelina, teaching her kids and others. Now the two ladies are working through a new partnership with Purple for Parents and a local charter school to help other parents take over their children's education in a new out-of-the-box micro school model that's never been done before.
If we take this, micro school, the modern version of a one-room schoolhouse, and put it underneath a charter, that we can then use all of the benefits that you get of being a public school through a charter, but without all of the nonsense that the parents are upset about with the current government schools, the unresponsiveness of the school boards.
And therein lies the unique ingredient. It allows parents to still use the public education system and funding, yet have control over their children's education as if they were paying for a private school or homeschool.
Some of you, I hear tell, have been preparing in your science classes.
The founder and director of Arches Academy, Michelle Edwards, is who you could call the first sponsor of this new model. She's allowing the Purple for Parents micro schools to piggyback off of her charter with the state.
I am super excited about both the model and the partnership. Purple for Parents is the perfect partner for us.
The families who start a P4P micro school will simply enroll their children in Arches Academy, and the school will then step in, helping the parents get set up. That includes support and training for the parent or certified teacher, whoever will be responsible for teaching the children. The trained parents will get paid by Arches $2,000 per child per year. Certified teachers will get paid $2,200 per child per year. So if a micro school were to open with 25 children, that certified teacher would be paid $55,000 a year. Teachers have already contacted the school interested in this new model of education.
They can come in, get out from underneath the bureaucratic nonsense that they have to deal with in the public schools, and instead come into an environment where they're teaching 10, 15, 25 kids at most, and they're able to still get a much better livable wage.
As for curriculum, the state-approved curriculum of the parent's choice will be provided by Arches Academy, with an extra $1,300 credit per year that parents can use for curriculum that goes beyond the basics.
Let's say one of the micro schools really has a high interest in learning to code. We'll be able to take some of that little curriculum fund and apply it to some coding software that they can use to learn that.
Arches will also have experienced educators visiting the micro schools regularly to make sure everything is running smoothly, as well as sending special needs service providers to the micro schools if needed.
Now we've got a partnership where we can bring the kids into an environment where the parents have control over the curriculum, they have control over the health and safety of their child, and they don't have to fight with their schools.
Sounds like a win-win, but Purple for Parents says they expect pushback from the public school system as this catches on.
They currently have power. They have all of that money. I mean, the amount of money they talk about, there's no education funding. The amount of money that goes into these school districts They're like small cities.
But the president for Purple for Parents, Michelle Dillard, says that they are determined to use their new model as a way to give power and the control over education tax dollars back to those parents who are disgruntled with their traditional public schools. Dillard says this should be a big wake-up call to the public school boards in all of those viral videos.
If the regular district schools wanted to keep and retain students and parents, they will change what they're doing. So they can either do that and try to retain their students, which they just look at as little bags of money, and they don't want them all to leave. If you want them to stay, change what you're doing and do what the customers, the parents, the community, what we want, which is to have the kids educated.
People really congregated because it wasn't just for warmth, it was also for light.
I'm seeing this as something that I do believe is going to expand. I do think that microschools are a thing of the future. I think that the trend in our country right now is that more and more families are wanting to take back control. They want to know what's going on. They're tired of the red tape and the rigmarole that they're getting and the pushback they're getting just when all they want is to help their own child.
And the willingness to agree for common good. What does that mean? Common good. Tell me, what does that mean? Common good. How about you, Kate? I don't know. It's common.